Hey everybody, this video is going to show you some of the design options you have in the Dorado blog site template. I'm currently in the ITDR admin and I'm under the design panel. You can just click on this drop down arrow, click design, and you'll be in the design panel as well. You'll see that we have a few tabs across the top here, and the first one we're going to start with is the logo tab. And you can see right now that we've uploaded a transparent ping, which is right here. You can upload a transparent ping or JPEG and it'll load there. You also have the option to type in your studio name if you don't upload anything. And if you don't upload a font here, you can use the fallback, which is the sans serif or serif style. You can change the color and the size. So if you just want to come in here and type whatever your studio name is, you can do that as well. We cover fonts and the font tab in other documentation, so I'm not going to do that here, but just know that that option is there for you. And now we're going to move over to the header image area. So that's this area right here with the header images. And what I want to talk about right off the bat is I'm going to go ahead and stretch out this browser. You can kind of see that right now we don't have anything back here. So if you were to drop in some sort of background, it would, or change the color of the background, it would carry all the way through here. But you do have some options. So first let's go ahead and let's turn on this use header background. So I have a texture in here that I've uploaded, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that to true and click save. And you're going to see that texture appear right back here, and so it creates this elongation. So if you have a really wide monitor, you'll be able to see something like that. If you didn't want to use this background or a background that you upload, I can go ahead and clear that, and what I can do is I can change this color back here. So let's go ahead and just pick a couple colors. We'll pick like this orange and this kind of greenish color, and what it'll do is it'll blend those colors top and bottom into each other. So you can see that right there. Now you can make it one solid color if you want, and it'll go ahead and blend the two colors together to make a solid color, and it's the same color, so it's making that solid color. Now with any of the color options here, you can go ahead and click this arrow and pick a color, or you can drop the code in here from Photoshop. So if you have specific branded colors, you can go ahead and do that. Now the next thing that we want to talk about is we want to go ahead and talk about the arrow colors. So in the header you have these arrow options, and you have the top color of the arrow, which is the white, and the background, which is that dark color. So you have the top color here and that background color there. So if you want to change that, you can. We're going to go ahead and leave this marked to true, and we're going to move over to the background area. So if I click on the background tab is going to allow you to change this background area. It's going to do a very similar thing that it did before when we were blending the colors, where you have a top and a bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just change these colors. I'm going to change this to an orange, and I'm going to change this to that greenish color, and we'll click save. And you're going to notice that we still have the white set up before in the header image area. So if I were to mark this to false and click save, it's going to turn that color off, and now that background is going to be able to bleed through. So if I wanted to have some sort of color here, I can go ahead and mark that to true and click save, and it would either add the colors here or it would add some sort of texture that I've uploaded. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the background area, and I'm going to put this back to my white, and you can see that it's blending from orange to green, but I'm going to go ahead and put my white colors back in here. And I also have the option to upload some sort of graphic or some sort of texture right here. And if I do that, I have options to tile it or fill frame or whatever it is I choose to do. So those are your background options. Let's go ahead and jump over to the settings tab. And let's talk about some of these numbers here. The blog width is going to be the width of the blog. So if you want to change that, you can go ahead and do that. You can make it wider or smaller. The blog sidebar width is going to be, if you use a sidebar, how much of that width is going to be taken up by the sidebar. And then the contact page sidebar, if you're on the contact page, you'll be able to see that there's a little sidebar there, and that sidebar you can determine the width as well. So this little sidebar here. So now we're going to go to the border colors. I'm going to go back to the home page. Anytime you see the border color, it's going to be like this little accent line like this. So if you want to change the color, you can do that here. You have the intro image background, and this dark color is going to affect any of these rollover states. So when you have like that dark rollover right there that shadows the image, you're going to go ahead and be able to change the color there. If you want to make it a yellow or whatever, you can go ahead and do that. And then we have the navigation link padding. So that's the navigation up here. If you need the space between the navigation items to be wider or shorter, you can go ahead and play around with that number there. You have the social icon. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll to the bottom. You'll see some of these social icons down here. And if I were to go ahead and change this color right here and just pick like an orange, you'll go ahead and see all our social icon stuff get changed. So you can see all our social icon stuff get changed. I'll go ahead and change that back. And then we have the form field background color and form field border color, and they're referring to the contact forms or any kind of forms that you're going to see. And the background color is going to be this white color, and the border color is going to be this dark color that wraps around. And then the last item is the space between the image posts. So if I go to the blog and you see the images in any post, when they're stacked, you can see the space between them, and you can go ahead and change that setting right here. So in this video we covered the logo, we covered all the general settings, the header images, and the background. The fonts we cover in another video, so I'm going to leave that to another video and other documentation to go into it in more depth. And I hope that was informative, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much.